guys, it's Kirby. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing or using the NYX Professional Makeup Blur Screen 30 SPF Primer, Blurring Primer Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF. They just launched this. I found it in Target. I didn't see it in Ulta yet, so I don't know when it's actually getting into all the stores. And I'm very interested in this product because, one, we should all be using SPF every day, and I know some of you aren't, and that's okay. But I also love a blurring primer. Most SPFs aren't blurring, and so I'm interested to see how the SPF and the blurring aspect go side and side or go hand in hand, or however that works. How much was this? I think this was $8.99, but I can't be sure. Let me look it up. Oh, okay. This is $13.97 or $14. I think you can pick it up at Walmart. I got it at Target. I think they're gonna sell it at Ulta, possibly. So $14. I don't know what I was thinking with $8.99, but yeah, $14. So, let's open it up and see what it's about. Alright, so it's very lotiony. It isn't as you can see as it's dripping down my hand. It doesn't have much of a scent. It does kind of smell like coconut. It does say with cactus flower extract and coconut juice, and then it has all of the different active sunscreens in it. Oh, that's an interesting texture. Okay. This is a really interesting texture. I was anticipating it, since it was said it's a blurring primer, I was anticipating it being very silky, silicone-y feeling, because that's what I'm used to when using a blurring primer, is having that really silky feel. This is not that. This is a very lotiony, I want to say tacky, but very lotiony type of primer. Almost very reminiscent of a thicker sunscreen, which it is a sunscreen primer, but I don't know how well it's gonna do at blurring pores. At the moment, I'm not seeing a lot of blurring happening. That's not a bad thing because my skin does feel really nice and prepped. It doesn't feel tacky or wet. It just feels very soft and hydrated. If anything, I really like this for the hydration aspect of it. And again, it doesn't have a very strong sunscreen scent to it. So what we're going to do is put some foundation on top of this, and then we're going to finish the face and come back for some final thoughts to see how this interacts with makeup, as it is a blurring primer sunscreen. NYX obviously recommends that you use the NYX Bear With Me Blurring Tint Foundation. I have this in the shade 4 Light Neutral. It is not my shade. I think I got this in summer, possibly, and so it's a little too dark for me. We're not going to use this. I also to be honest, don't really prefer the texture of this, which is fine. But we are going to use the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serums. I use these as foundation and concealer all over my face, so they're going to be great for that. I'm going to use the shade 2.5 Medium Vanilla all over my face. And I'm going to be using the e.l.f. powder brush, which is a flat top kabuki, to be applying that all over my face. Okay, so some initial thoughts. Usually I focus mainly on my my initial thoughts around my nose, and especially the creases in my nose and my chin area, because those are the worst acting up. They're the worst spots for me. And so I did take another brush, which this is a Morphe M334, and I just pressed it into the crevices of my nose. And I will say it's doing an okay job. I feel the texture of my skin looks really nice. Sorry, I have an eyelash right here. It's not, this concealer isn't setting on my skin or sitting on my skin the way it normally does. Usually it looks very seamless, and I'm actually seeing the product, if that makes sense. Like usually when I use the Bare With Me concealer serum, like it just melts into my skin. It just looks beautiful and dewy and like my actual skin. But today, using this primer, I'm actually like seeing the makeup on top of my face. The primer that I usually use is the Benefit Professional Hydrate Primer. I really like this one, or I'll just use my Black Girl sunscreen as like a base for my makeup. It's just the last step of my skincare, and I'll just put that on and let my skin sink it in, and then I'll put my makeup on top of it. So yeah, I feel like the texture of my face is really, really nice. Like it did a very good job of like, not blurring, but like it did a very nice job of making my skin look smooth. I think my only problem is that like I can see the makeup on my face, whereas usually with this concealer, that's not so much of a problem. But it is giving like a nice base. So I'm having like conflicted feelings right now because it does look very nice. But it's just not looking like how it usually looks. Alright, I'm going to go off camera and finish my face and put some powders and eyeshadow and all that jazz on, and then we will come back to see how my face looks finished with all of the powders and everything on top, so that we can get a better idea of like how this blur screen primer worked. Okay guys, we finished the face, powdered, eyeshadowed, eyebrows, a little bit of bronzer and blush and things like that. I honestly don't know if you can tell because in my monitor it's looking a little washed out, but I tried to do some eyeshadow that kind of like matched the packaging a little bit. What do we think? So yeah, anyways, some final thoughts. I think it's nice. I like the texture. I like how it feels. I think if you're going to wear this as a primer for your makeup, you need to let it kind of sit on your skin for a moment. You can't just like immediately go in with your makeup, which you should be letting your primer sit on your skin for like a minute or two anyways before you go in with your makeup. I don't know if a lot of people are doing that or not, but yeah, I think like it's giving me very nice soft looking skin. I don't want to say blurred, because in my mind like a blurring primer is like a pore filling primer. Like it is making your skin look blurred, and this isn't exactly doing that. This is definitely giving me very nice skin, very even skin. It's like it's making me look nice, you know, like it's evening things out, but it is in no way blurring me. The powder I used was a little bit more of an expensive powder, the Givenchy Prism Libre powder, and then I also finished with the NYX the Marshmallow setting spray, which is a mattifying setting spray. So yeah, I feel like I would prefer to use this as just a sunscreen versus an actual primer. Does that make sense? Like I feel like my Black Girl sunscreen in the original 30 is a better makeup primer than this one. But I think what I like about this is the size of it is 1.01 fluid ounces, 30 milliliters, and the packaging of it to like keep in my purse, keep in my backpack, especially like over the summer and things like that when I'm reapplying like really heavily, because I really loved the texture of this, and I loved that it didn't smell like a sunscreen. It had like a light coconut fragrance. It was really just supple on the skin. I don't know how to describe the texture other than it was like creamy without being tacky or lotiony, and it just left my skin feeling moisturized and refreshed. And so I feel like as a sunscreen, this is a lot better than a makeup primer, but it does sit nicely under makeup. So like that's the benefit of it, is that it sits nicely under makeup. And this is just like the initial application. Maybe if you're interested, we could do like a wear test, maybe when it's like I'm actually leaving my house. But yeah, I feel like I love the packaging, I love the size, I love that I'm going to like keep this in my purse or backpack because I'll be sunscreening all summer and, you know, winter and stuff. But yeah, loved the scent, loved the texture. I just didn't really feel like it blurred that much, you know, like again, it's sitting well underneath my makeup, it's sitting well with all of my products. It's just not blurring me the way I want it to blur me. I want my pores gone. And you can still see my pores, which is okay. Anyways, I will link this down in the description box below, so if you are interested in the NYX Professional Makeup Blur Screen 30 Primer, Blurring Primer Sunscreen, you can check it out on your own time. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, give it a big old thumbs up. As always, please be sure to subscribe and hit the little notification bell. I would hate for you to miss out on any more videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys.